Hey there, guys. This is Flamzeron, aka YouTube's Tasuke, and as you can guess, it's now time to talk about the second arc of Dragon Ball Super, the Resurrection F slash Frieza arc number 2, or Frieza Second Coming, or Frieza whatever you want to call it. It's basically a second Frieza arc, you know, and it wrapped up this past week, I think a couple of weeks at this point, because this will probably go up a little bit later due to my current video batch. But I'm going to talk about it now, and I'm also going to include. I don't remember if I talked about like the pre-arc episodes. Like they're almost like filler in a way, like with Vegeta wanting to get trained by Whis and Hercule having to fight like these alien people and stuff like that. Like that was a pretty funny episode. And I thought it was kind of funny how they like the characters, they always have to pretend that Hercule's really strong and Goku is like and then he comes back and gets the track and he's like it's kind of funny. But and the episode where Vegeta wants to get trained by Whis, and he's trying all these different food things. Like this episode in particular was kind of weird because I felt like it was sort of like a shift in Vegeta's general attitude. And I did like how he said steakhouse and what sounded like pretty good English, because I know Ryo Horikawa, he speaks English. He was a exchange student. Um, I don't remember where. Um, but I know he came to America and he spoke English. And it sounded pretty authentic to me. Um, and Vegeta like trying to make all this food and like take Whis to like these different places. Like I thought that was kind of funny. Um, and then I think it was the episode after where Goku's like, "Where's Vegeta? Oh, he's training with Whis. I want to train with Whis," and he keeps asking Bulma, like he's like peeking at her in the shower, like is he here yet? And I thought it was kind of funny how she gave Goku a cell phone. I thought that was kind of funny. Just the idea of Goku with a cell phone. It's kind of funny, and you know stuff like that. Because of circumstances regarding the subgroup that I've been following. I think I mentioned it in the last one. Dragon Team, they went on a bit of a. They kind of. It was almost like, like they got like really behind, and then this other group over 8,000 they took over. You know, whether or not you believe they're the same person or not, because it's weird that as one goes down, the other one comes back. Um, and there are more um like general like errors, like not translation errors, like words would repeat a couple of times. So it was pretty strange. But yeah, because like initially Dragon Team they weren't able to finish the episode, the Beerus arc, or Battle of Guards arc, whatever you want to call it. Battle of Gods arc. I'm only saying that because I think I mispronounced it earlier. It's a crazy time, but they over 8,000 took her, so I watched with them, and then Dragon Team like stepped up again, and they kind of took a little bit of a break, but then they got into another delayment, if that's even like they got delayed again, then they came back and they wrapped up, so everything should be fine going forward. Um, because and there was even a time where they were doing it like the day of, like if the episode comes out like Sunday, which for us in North America is Saturday, and then like give Sunday the time for like people to like fix it up and whatnot, then on that Monday it comes out. I believe that's how it would work. Like if you think about it that way, but That's not important. They ended up being on time. Why don't we actually get to the actual review part of the actual? I mean, I did just talk about the filler. I liked it. I don't mind like the downtime stuff. I've actually kind of come to enjoy that more with this series because if you're one of the fans like me who's been like following it since like the old Toonami days and whatnot, even if you like got like the old Funimation dub with the ocean cast of Dragon Ball, like Curse of the Blood Rubies and whatnot, like I mentioned in what is basically my Dragon Ball history, then you've known these characters for a while, and so it's kind of cool to see them do different stuff. In terms of the Resurrection F stuff, there are more scene changes in this than in Balagaz, and I don't know. I feel like it's kind of hit or miss on both sides, like certain stuff they do. One thing to note, which is something I was initially glad they did, was that Tagoma, one of Sorbet's henchmen, because it's Sorbet, who's like the little guy, and then Tagoma, which is like the tall and slender guy, and then there's Shisami, who's like the big ox muscle man. Those are like Frieza's current underlings, and I thought it was cool that Tagoma came back, and what they kind of do with him is kind of interesting. It's still the 4-month training session. We also get a little bit to see, obviously, since the story, since the downtime, we get to see Goku and Vegeta go to train with Whis. So we get to see sort of what their training regimen is like. And I'm probably going to make some comparisons to Frieza's, because I feel like you can make some comparisons to it. I mean, obviously, it's a little different. But, yeah, Frieza still trains for 4 months. We end up learning that what Frieza basically did was that he, sparred with Tagoma, really intensely. And, Tagoma would have to, go into, the rejuvenation, chamber thing and heal up for, the next day. And, they would train, every day. So it was really intensive training. So I feel like, to me, that makes Frieza's basically a growth spurt, I guess, a little more believable, just because we actually get to see how it happens, And it's kind of like the times where the characters would take extended training, sparring sessions. I was about to compare it to the hyperbolic time chamber, though. Obviously, with the hyperbolic time chamber, there's more of a time thing. So, as far as I know, what looked like some barren planet that Frieza and Tagoma went to, it was just sort of a random planet that they could optimize training. And because of this, Tagoma's personality shifts a little bit. He still kind of does his why don't we just forget about the Saiyans? And then Frieza's shut the fuck up. But he is ultimately spared, which I liked, because I wanted to see him fight Gohan or somebody, and then Piccolo fight Shisami, and what they did with it, I thought was okay. Both how it starts and what ends up happening with Tagoma, and I'll get into that later on. The cast of characters for the good guys is still roughly the same. Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, Tien, and Master Roshi. And I'm ultimately fine with that. I believe they still keep the I didn't bring Chaozu because, he's not going to handle the shit. And I think Gohan said the same thing about Goten and Trunks. They end up showing up, which I was okay with. I really wanted to see Yamcha, though, and, it is basically favoritism, because besides Tien, Yamcha is probably my favorite human. I just wanted to see him fight some people. I understand that out of all the humans, he's probably the weakest, because, Tien he's the only one, based on his personality, he seems like the most likely to train. And with Krillin, he's according to Toriyama and pretty much all the official documentation, websites and whatnot, basically he's officially the strongest human. And I know a lot of people disagree with that. I feel like here it's a bit more believable because, he sort of brings up to Goku the idea that he wants to get strong and he makes Goku punch him like in the face. And of course he's doing the police job thing, so he's doing like some physical activity. So at the very least, if he doesn't get any stronger, he's at least able to keep up with like his current level. Whereas with Gohan, just completely stopped. But there's some stuff on that too. But so yeah, like out of the humans, like yeah, Yamcha is like the one who probably would be the weakest human. And some people might think, what about Master Roshi? Because isn't he like technically the weakest human just from a power scale standpoint? And probably, but at the same time, he's also a martial arts master, so he's got a little bit more to him than he's like a designated like teacher and master. So his skill level is different. They don't really explain if he got any stronger or whatever. But I don't know why I'm explaining it as if I've never reviewed the movie, but they have their little big war thing. One thing that is changed off the bat is that Krillin gets scared, and Frieza singles him out, which that's also a slight scene change because originally it was just a big war that Frieza watched, but in this one he singles out Krillin's like, "Go kill that asshole," and Krillin gets scared. Which I felt, it's kind of in character for him, but I didn't really like that because I'm just like, I don't know. I liked how in the movie they just were fighting. Obviously the choreography is a bit different. It's not going to be as fluid and nice as the movie, I imagine, because the budget's probably a little different. Obviously he kind of gets his act together, and I don't know. It seems sort of like a stall. I feel like with Krillin, it's like I don't know. I felt like, especially considering in the Buu saga, that where like after when Super Buu comes out and Krillin's the first one to like jump in and start fighting. So, basically I felt like it was a little backwards with Krillin. I know he is the designated scaredy cat of the group, but at the same time I also felt like lately he's been more brave. I'm going entirely off of memory in terms of Krillin's bravery, but I do have like the image in mind, especially considering it was that particular episode was the first episode I actually watched in Japanese with the subtapes. And usual thing, he shaves his head. I think they even keep the One Piece opening. We are da 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 da. I thought that was pretty nice. And 18 says like the same stuff, like, "Should I go? I'm technically stronger." And Krillin's all like, "But Mary needs a mommy because mommies are cool." That kind of thing. I think she even says like, "He's so cool." But I kind of hope Krillin gets stronger than Android 18. I don't know. That would make me happier because the androids. It's not right. That's a tangent. It's 4:22, and I'm a little rusty with my videos, I suppose, because I've taken a bit of a break for the past like 2 weeks. But yeah, that's like one change. It felt more like it was dragging the story a little bit as opposed to doing stuff. I guess that's probably currently my biggest complaint with Super so far, is that it seems to drag a little too much. I understand this is a TV series, but I felt like maybe it's because I was watching Kai like as well, like at least with the post Majin Buu stuff, which I will go ahead and say has a lot of filler in it. Like the post Buu stuff seemed really concise, but yeah. And other than that, just big battle. As like in the movie, Frieza's not really that surprised. Shisami, he comes in, he's fighting Piccolo, and I think Gohan's about to step in. Like they're about ready to start like that thing where like Gohan's like, "We can't afford to fuck anything up. Super Saiyan punch," and like knocks out Shisami. But then actually Tagoma kills him, and he's all like, "I'm so sick of shit. Like I had to endure all this training, and I became a hard ass crazy person." And he actually ends up being pretty strong. He actually like beats everybody up, and then Goten and Trunks come in. They do Go tanks and they like stab him in the crotch with their Super Saiyan hair. And of course, around this time, we've all Captain Ginyu frog kept peering around, and he was all like, "Sup?" And he ends up what ends up happening is that he switches bodies with Tagoma, and so Ginyu comes in. I thought I was kind of okay with it, and I'm kind of not, just because I was kind of hoping that, I don't know. I think it would have been more. It did seem kind of pointless overall, because all it really did was just kind of stall a little bit. I don't even remember how they ultimately defeat. Um, I think they just kind of stop, and then yeah, I think Frieza stops him. He's just like, "I want to beat up Gohan because you're fucking Goku's son. I'm gonna punch you in the wee wee." So I think it just kind of becomes like a torture thing, at that point. But um, but yeah, I think the Captain Ginyu situation may have been a slightly mishandled, and in a way, possibly. I say possibly just because I'm thinking in terms of what we know about the Champa arc, which is going to be coming up next, which I think they're starting the very next episode, 28. Those who are keeping up at this point, you should have seen 1 through 27 if you're watching, and then you're going to listen to my review. But I I feel like it would have been maybe more interesting to save Captain Ginyu for save him for during the Champa arc, maybe while Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Majin Buu, and the new character Monaka, as well as Beerus and Whis, are doing their thing, because what we're led to believe there may be some sort of like tournament or competition between Champa and Beerus, and what we learned in the preview of episode 28 is that Champa is actually Beerus's brother, and also of the God of Destruction for Universe 6, and we get to see some of the characters that Goku and the gang are going to be fighting. But obviously, there's some characters still left over on Earth, because I imagine they're probably going to be going to like some other planet or some other place to like do the tournament or whatever. Because we've got Krillin, Tien, Yamcha, Master Roshi, Gohan, and Trunks and Goten, some of these other characters. Like, it would be interesting if maybe like Captain Ginyu survived as Tagoma and like picked up remnants of Frieza's army or like anyone else he could find and started like this assault on Earth. But because he's in Tagoma's body, he's a lot stronger, and like maybe like he pulls a Frieza and waits and like trains his mind or something. Alternatively, they could do a thing where like he's still in the frog form, and one of Frieza's henchmen survives, maybe even someone who kind of looks like Captain Ginyu a little bit, and then he switches with that body. It's like, this body's amazing, or something. Just sort of thinking out loud a little bit. I like the idea of Captain Ginyu coming back. I feel like I ultimately didn't like him taking Tagoma's body. But even then, I wasn't entirely pleased with the Tagoma business. Mainly, I was kind of hoping for them to sort of do like, I didn't really want Tagoma to be like the last one standing and he be like the super strongest one they have to fight. I think I would have preferred if like maybe he was fighting Gohan, he gets beaten, and then like they do the thing with Piccolo and Shisami where like Piccolo's fighting him, he's having a hard time, then Gohan comes in, it's like, oh, we can't afford to fuck up, and then like he just one shots Shisami. Either that, or they keep the thing of Tagoma wanting like killing Shisami near the end, but or I don't know, like maybe dragging it out. I feel like the best way to keep it the way it is to drag out the fight between Piccolo and Shisami and Gohan. What they maybe could have done is that Gohan does his like Super Saiyan punch thing. Although if you ask me, he's he's in Super Saiyan 2, but I'll get to that later on. And then maybe like Shumi's like, "You asshole, you're gonna get it," and then like Tagoma hits him then. Like sort of like an idea that he doesn't really get a chance to try to fight back Gohan. That would be interesting. I would have been okay with that, but and then like maybe after that, what they probably could have, and then like this might have been too early maybe, especially if we were to keep the thing of Tagoma killing Shisami. Maybe do a thing where like they finally get an edge on Tagoma and they're beating him up, and then Frieza's all like, "You're not as strong as I fucking thought you were," and like he personally kills Tagoma. And then maybe he's like, "Come to think of it, I don't need anyone else," and then like he kills the rest of his minions. And that might be too early, just on the grounds that we just would have seen one of the bad guys kill his teammate. At the same time, Frieza would do that. You know, he would do that. He you know, if he doesn't see any need to have someone around and on his side, he kills him. And it's kind of the idea that he's like this ruthless monster. Like, above all else, I feel like above being the most popular villain in the entire franchise, above being this snooty emperor who thinks he's the strongest in the universe, I feel like Frieza, as a character, based on the information that Toriyama gave, where like he was inspired from not only what he thought monsters looked like in the closet, according to one of the Daizenshu's, but also the economic bubble that happened in Japan. And that Toriyama said that you can look this up too if you want, on Kanzenshu or somewhere else, because where Toriyama said that Frieza was like, when he was making Frieza, he thought of I think real estate speculators, which it's some sort of like speculator, but he said, and he claimed that they were quote unquote the worst kind of people. So I feel like Frieza, first and foremost, is supposed to be just the quintessential symbol of evil and just nastiness. Out of any other character, like, he's not like Kid Buu to where he's just like crazy evil. Like, Frieza's evil and he knows it. Like, and he's completely self-absorbed, and he just does what he wants, and he's just a poopy butt. That's the way I see Frieza, and so I feel like him killing off, Tagoma after not seeing he's useful anymore, that would be interesting. That's what I would have done, at least. And I'm okay with Trunks and Goten coming in as well. Like, personally, like, if it really, again, I think I said this in the Resurrection F review, if it were up to me, I would have everybody there. 18, Yamcha, maybe not Chaozu, like, have characters for, like, support, like, because they could sense Frieza's power, and they know that he's a lot stronger, so my thought process is, why not just have everybody? Of course, at the same time, they do bring up the whole point of, like, or at least have Majin Buu. Like, I would have had, like, all the primary characters who could actually put up a decent fight. It would have been cool to see Majin Buu interact with Frieza, because apparently he knows Majin Buu. And Jocko still did his thing. I think he even did a little less in this movie. I don't remember him doing that much fighting. But it was cool to see him. And the general story's mostly the same. Bulma's still trying to contact Whis. Like, here's this strawberry thing. And then Whis like, oh, I got a call from Bulma. Oh no, shit's going down. She brought a thingy. Oh, hey, give me the thingy. Okay, can you bring Goku and Vegeta? Sure. Okay, let's go fight. It's same general thing. I mean, there are also some differences, and again, it's ultimately dragged out a little bit. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what else I want to mention. With Goku and Vegeta, at first with Whis' training, we see a lot of them doing like a lot of like kind of like what Master Roshi was doing, where it was all like cardio stuff basically. It's where it's like they're like doing a bunch of like chores and housework and whatnot. Like they have to change like Beerus' sheets and like farm and whatnot, which Goku's probably used to, knowing him. um, and then it's afterwards they get teleported to like this one like place, and they train a little bit there. And then then Whis pulls Goku and Vegeta back out. It's like, oh, shit's going on. Um, I feel like it's a little similar to Frieza's situation, because mainly just on the standpoint that like this is assuming that this extra bit of training and sparring they got pushed them to get Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, which I think may have been the case. Of course, knowing these two characters, they tend to do a lot of training behind the scenes. So I'm especially with Goku getting Super Saiyan 3 basically off screen. Like when he when he shows up at the tournament in the Majin Buu arc, he already has Super Saiyan 3. It's just that he can't do it as well. And he probably might have done it when fighting Vegeta. But that would have been interesting actually. But yeah, so mainly just because obviously they were training a bit longer too, so it's a bit more believable. But I kind of liked it also at the same time, just because it felt more comparable to Frieza's a little bit. I know there are probably going to be people thinking like, "What the fuck are you saying? Or have you lost your mind?" Just how I feel. And because with the movie, all we know is that they were training with that Goku and Vegeta were training with Whis. Like as far as we know, they might have just started their training, and as we can see in Super, they literally did start doing their actual like legitimate like fighting training. So it was more like they just kind of got like a slight head start. I mean, they were already kind of at a head start anyway with Frieza. They were already kind of strong. Like if he had just came back, like yeah, it would have been a lot easier to just kill him. And it's around this point on Earth that Frieza starts torturing Gohan after he's gone what I believe is Super Saiyan 2, mainly just because I feel like a lot of people don't really understand this, and a lot of people try to rely on the electrical sparks that happens with Super Saiyan 2, but it's more than that. The big difference, in my opinion, between Super Saiyan 1 and Super Saiyan 2 is that Super Saiyan 2, your hair spikes up more. Like if you take a picture of Super Saiyan Goku and then take a picture of Super Saiyan Goku 2 or Super Saiyan 2 Goku, however you like to say it, you can tell that like there's some hair differences. Because his hair is like spiked up even more, his bangs are up even more to where he has like just the one kind of hanging down. Like he almost looks like Vegito a little bit. And I feel like with Gohan, with him, when he first went Super Saiyan during Cell, like his hair just like basically turned yellow. When he went Super Saiyan 2, though, it spiked up even more. And I'd have to look. I'm gonna look back during the Majin Buu arc because that's a bit more easy to compare. But his hair was also pretty short then as well. And like I remember when he would go Super Saiyan 2, like it would spike up a lot. I'd have to go back and look. He could have just gone Super Saiyan for all I know, but I feel like he may have gone Super Saiyan 2 possibly. I'm gonna look back in the manga and then maybe look at the episode again. Probably of the original, because I can access that easier than Kai perhaps, or not necessarily, because I can just look at it online. But yeah, that's my mindset. And Frieza starts shooting Gohan with all these blasts, and Gohan's like, "I'm not strong enough, am I a weakling?" And Krillin says like, there's nothing wrong with stopping to train to take care of your family. And he's sort of probably in the same boat as Gohan too. He probably stopped a little bit. Again, he is getting a little bit of a workout with the police thing, provided he's catching criminals every day. But he also probably has to work out and keep in shape, I would imagine. And then like Gohan's reduced back to his regular form, and they're trying to, and like Goku's trying to instant transmission to Earth, but like he can't sense any of their powers just because they're so far away. And I don't remember if they, I think they might have. I don't remember if they tried to do like the everyone, charge up to your max level, and it doesn't work, or if they do have Gohan do what he does, because what he basically does is like bursts like the rest of his chi, or his ki or whatever, and like bursts it on, and Goku's able to sense that. Now, I want to note this in particular because to me, this is saying that Gohan is not weaker. He's just rusty. Because if he was weaker, and the way that people are thinking, he probably wouldn't have been able to reach that kind of level. Yes, it was a short burst, but you can't really burst what you don't have. You know what I mean? I feel like people, as much as Gohan is like the most overrated character in the entire franchise besides Trunks, future Trunks, sorry, and Vegeta. I feel like he's not as weak as everyone is saying he is. Like, I feel like he was just kind of rusty. That's just my viewpoint. Maybe he is a little weaker. I'm of the mindset that even though he's a Saiyan, he's not like a fucking robot. Like, if you punch him in the head, it's still going to hurt. And you can say that about Vegeta and Goku as well. I'm gonna have to. There's some research I want to do about certain things with Dragon Ball, because I feel like there's some things I'd like to maybe look at to get a different viewpoint. But that's my viewpoint. I feel like the main thing is it's not that he's weaker, is that he's rusty. And but anyway, that's how Goku is able to get to Earth, that stuff. And from that point, the fight is pretty much the same. Goku's the first one to fight. Frieza goes into his final form to start off with. Goku's just like, I'm not going to go fucking Super Saiyan because I don't fucking need it. And so they duke it out. Vegeta interrupts, and it was kind of funny. And like, Frieza's like, why don't you join me, Vegeta? And this was kind of funny, yet at the same time, I feel like it was also a little try-hard. It's when Vegeta's clapping, and he's like, congratulations on your resurrection, Frieza. And Frieza's all like, thanks, Vegeta. Golly. He has his eyes closed, and like he's doing like that smile. He's like kind of listening. And Vegeta just keeps clapping and clapping and clapping and clapping. And Frieza's like, okay, you can stop. And I was like, shut up, it's annoying. Your clapping is annoying. And then Vegeta's like, then your existence is annoying. That was kind of funny, because like it took me a little bit to figure out that, like, it took me just a teensy minute just to, like, oh, I see, he's actually trying to get on his nerves. Like, I thought, like, okay, like, he's probably trying to get on his nerves. Like, oh, I see, he is actually getting on his nerves. And that was kind of funny. At the same time, it felt a little try-hard. Because it's just, like, it was just sort of like it was a funny moment. On some level, it is a little necessary. I kind of liked that Battle of God, Resurrection F, the way Vegeta's feelings for Frieza, it's a bit downplayed, and to the unassumed fan, or someone who doesn't know Dragon Ball that well, it might make them think that, oh, maybe Vegeta's going to switch over. And in the trailer, it kind of presented itself that way a little bit, of the movie. And I don't know, I feel like here it was a bit more apparent that, yeah, he's not like a slave of Frieza anymore. Not that he ever was. Other than that, they do their big battle. Goku goes Super Saiyan, God Super Saiyan. He explains it. Frieza repeats. I thought that was kind of funny how, like, it was another kind of cheeky moment of them trying to be funny. I felt like that was kind of, I don't know. It was also sort of a way of showing, like, sort of like the weird sort of relationship that Goku and Frieza have. And so they were battling it out. The general fight's a little different. I feel like in the movie it was generally Frieza had a slight edge at first, but Goku kind of took over pretty quickly. I feel like here Frieza is beating up Goku a fair amount, then Goku kind of jumps in. And Vegeta, he's the first one to kind of figure out Frieza's, like, secret that, like, spoilers for those who haven't seen Super or have seen the movie Resurrection F, but Frieza's whole thing is that, like, as soon as he got this new form, he headed straight to Earth, and he didn't, like, master it or anything, so he's burning a lot of energy. He's burning a lot of chi, whatever you call it, or whatever you like to call it. Because it's basically the Japanese pronunciation of chi. That's really all it is. And like, there's a moment where Frieza's, like, gonna shoot an energy blast, and he tries to, but it doesn't work very well. And Goku's like, "What?" And then Frieza's like, I must have misconfigured the settings, or I'm joking, but something like that does happen, and you know, Goku, he beats up Frieza, and then he powers down from Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. He's like, yeah, like, this is kind of pointless. You've already lost. Like, you're dumb. And it's kind of funny because, like, before he gets shot by Sorbet's laser, he's all like, I'd be happy to fight you again. I thought that was so funny. Yet I feel like Frieza's probably the one character Goku probably hate. I mean, he got his revenge, so he probably, any like hatred he has probably went away just because, one, Krillin came back to life, and two, Goku beat the shit out of Frieza. Like, he got his payback. So I don't know, maybe that's their mentality, that like Goku doesn't necessarily hate Frieza anymore just because he got his revenge for Krillin. And speaking of the sorbet thing, one thing I actually didn't like was in the movie, Frieza does this weird thing with his tail, and that's like a signal to Sorbet, like, oh, I need to do my laser thing. He in the show, like, he turns to Sorbet and they do that thing where like they have the lip flaps going, but he doesn't actually say anything, just to kind of make it seem like, oh, secret. Frieza's doing a secret. Oh my god, yes, he's writing in his diary. Oh my gosh, Bardock is like so cute. That kind of, not really, but like, I didn't like that. I think it would have been more interesting if like he does like some telepathic thing. Like, if they had to do it to where he tells Sorbet to do it, I would have rather him do it, because like, they make it look like Goku's a little further away, so he probably didn't hear. But as far as we know, Goku probably could have heard. And he gets shot by the ray. He's like, it hurts. My fucking ray guns on my boobies. And Frieza does the thingy. Then Vegeta comes in. He's like, oh, fuck you. And he goes Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. One thing that they did sort of change or add was that Goku notes that Vegeta attained this form on his own. Whereas with Goku, since he became the Super Saiyan God, he could tap into the power because it's familiar to him. My theory on this is that with Vegeta, since he took part in the ritual to help Goku turn into a Super Saiyan God, he's got a piece of it in him as well. Like, you could technically say that about Gohan and probably Trunks and Goten. I don't know, maybe they'll do a thing where like they'll all go Super Saiyan God, and then they'll give Goku their Super Saiyan God powers, and he'll become a Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan God, Super God Saiyan, Super God Saiyan, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan 3, Kaioken Ozaru. No, but that would be funny. And same thing, Vegeta's beating him up. Frieza goes out of his golden form. He blows up the earth. Goku's all like, oh, fuck. If only I had done killed Frieza. Whis like, oh, well, get good, and here's the... Like, they do the thing, like, with Goku, like, oh, you're too relaxed, and you're a little cocky. Vegeta, you're too stressed, you need to jerk off and release some of that stress in your wee-wee. But Bulma doesn't want to have sex with me anymore. Then I'll pleasure you, Vegeta. What? Suck my staff, Vegeta. Oh, it feels so good. Oh! I'm joking. But, though I imagine that'd be funny if, like, in the comments, like, someone's like, yes, I ship Vegeta and Whis. Finally, someone who gets me. I'm more of a Android 18 and Videl kind of guy, but I don't have any ships for Dragon Ball. I try to go. I let my ships go to like the series that I don't really want to pervert, or that I want to pervert a little bit. Not that I try to pervert anything, but anyway. This is a fucking long video. This was longer than the first part, I think. The Beerus arc. Anyway, so, yeah. They do that thing. It plays out very much like the movie. Like, fucking Vegeta, Goku being a, fuck you, Kamehameha. I almost said Kaioken. Or I almost said Kaioken, which is really embarrassing. That thing. Like, why did you kill Frieza, Goku? I wanted to kill him. I wanted to spit on his face and make out with him and make him gay. And then Goku's all like, why would you do that, Vegeta? No, I'm joking. They, explain the thing. And then they do a little party. And I like that just because it was kind of cool to see what they were doing afterwards. I always like to see what the characters are doing even after, like, the designated ending of that section. And now here's the big thing that a lot of people were really happy about. Gohan goes up to Piccolo and he's like, Piccolo, will you train me again? Because I want to get stronger again. And then Piccolo's like, okay. And this is cool because one, Gohan's gonna, on one hand, get stronger again. In my opinion, go back up to his original level and also get a little stronger. And Piccolo's also going to get stronger as well. Of course, it's for him, it's probably more of like maintenance, and he's probably just going to refine and maintain his ability. And this would make him joining the crew to fight Champa's people a bit more believable. But yeah, that was cool. And I know a lot of people on Facebook are like, "Oh my gosh, Gohan's going to train again! Holy fuck!" And then people are like, "Oh, whatever." I hope he gets a cool gi. Like, I hope he kind of does what he did with the Buu Saga, where he had that purple gi that, clearly had like the inspiration from Piccolo's gi, but also had inspiration from like, more like Goku's a little bit, slightly, but probably would be like if Chi-Chi had a gi. Because she wore the Chinese dress whenever she fought. The shoes are pretty similar to her shoes when she fought Goku in the tournament in Dragon Ball. But that's really all I can think of. I enjoyed it. I do think that they could have worked on some of the stuff a little bit. Like, I think Krillin getting scary was a bit too old school and sort of backwards, and also kind of dragged the story a little bit. I think the Tagoma and Captain Ginyu thing could have been handled a little better, and I think provided that Captain Ginyu is dead. For all we know, he could come back, and my idea about him trying to do an assault on Earth while Goku and the gang are off with a Champa. And that would actually be kind of interesting because Goku and Vegeta would be off. So, like, the two strongest characters in the entire story would be gone doing something else. So it'd be a bit more challenging. And maybe they could do a thing where, like, they come in while Gohan hadn't finished his training yet or something. I don't know. Or while, like, I don't know, or maybe like Captain Ginyu got stronger. I don't know, but Gotenks, that was fine. Some of the scenes, like the clapping thing, I thought it was funny though. It did seem a little try hard to me, and sort of a little too flavory. But I really liked it. It was still a funny scene, so I enjoyed it. The starring star ending theme was pretty good. I like the second one, the other one, the third one they do. It does seem a little modern anime to me, with Goku and like the flower petals. Yes, we're Japanese. And then Goku be like, I'm looking at what? Someone's looking at me. Candid shot. And then like they do the scroll of all his friends, like, I have my friends to support me. And it was a pretty cool song, and I like how they have like Goku and like pretty much the entire gang there. But yeah, pretty good. I'm looking forward to the Champa arc, which is gonna start literally, like they're starting. It's probably gonna be partially filler and also new stuff, but like they're gonna introduce Champa formally, because they show him again and have him interact with Beerus while they're going to get the strawberry thing and watch Goku and Vegeta fight Frieza. They go, hi Champa, Universe 6 and whatnot. We also get to see some of the characters from Universe 6. And I'm of the mindset that it's not a parallel universe, but it's a neighboring universe. And I feel like that makes more sense, because then it's like characters that look like other characters. Like we have that guy, Frost, who looks like Frieza. Because they're like, oh, well, then maybe Frieza's family was pretty big and like transcended into other universes. Again, I think it's neighboring universes, so it's not necessarily like a time travel or an alternate timeline kind of thing. I think it's just it's like a secondary world that's like next to their world. But yeah, Dragon Ball Super, I'm enjoying it. It's really cool. You should definitely watch it if you like Dragon Ball. But yeah, I enjoyed it. This is Flams Veronica, YouTube Sasuke signing out. See you later.